Welcome back to vrising. We return yet again to the lands of Arteron to continue our journey through fighting every single boss here in the game. Last time we took a look at the early game bosses in Act 1. If you missed that one, make sure to go check it out. And as you probably guessed, today I'll be showcasing all of the Act 2 bosses. How to find them, how to slay them, and what goods you can get in return. As always, if you're watching this and still not subscribed for whatever reason, please consider hitting that button so you can stay on top of the latest vampiric content, and it really helps the channel out. Alright, enjoy the video and I hope you find it helpful. So congratulations, you made it out of Act 1. Your reward now is being able to leave Farbane and venture north up to the Dunley farmlands, where you'll find the first boss of Act 2, which is actually one of my favorite fights in the entire game, Beatrice the Tailor. You can find her in the southern part of Dunley, down in the middle of Dawnbreak Village. She roams around this village, and her unique element is that she does not fight you. But this is actually a difficult boss fight because she gets the entire town to fight you. It's a different take on the traditional boss fight mechanic, where yes, it is challenging. You have people trying to kill you, but it's not the boss themselves. There's a few different ways you can go about this. You can either clear most of the town out so it's easier, you could just hunt her down, or if you're feeling confident, you're feeling frisky, you could just find her, target her, and try to take her out before the entire town folk take you out. So we're gonna try that strat. Let's see how it goes. Don't mind me, fellas. I'm just a wolf. Oh, I waited till daytime to do this. It's more annoying because this damn guy with a bell, but we did find her. She's right here. Oh, she's in here, so we're gonna try and trap her with a spider. That didn't work. She just runs around in terror and gets the entire town aggroed on you, which makes this fight unique and also kind of annoying. She's pretty fast for a woman of her age, actually. Also, I wouldn't recommend her doing this fight in daytime like this. It makes it even more annoying, but you know what? I like a challenge. Also, one thing about her is when you get her below 50%, unlike most of the other bosses, she will not drop orbs, so plan accordingly. The good thing is she doesn't have a ton of health though, so it is pretty easy to burst her down if you do go for the strat. Extract her blood, and then if you still have the whole town on you, just leave. So if you manage to hunt down Beatrice here in the town, you get rewarded with being able to craft the loom, which will allow you to refine the higher threads and wools and yarns that you need for some of the higher level armor crafting. You also get some curtains, so you can make your base look even dapper. Hunter's cloak, which is the upgraded cloak. Being able to make cloth, which is one of those upgraded tailoring fabrics that you'll make, like I mentioned, and also yarn, which is super important. Okay, so up next you have the level 44 bosses, which in this tier you have 3 bosses, all of which path. The first one being Vincent the Frostbringer. You can find him pathing around Dunley or posted up here in this militia camp just north of the haunted iron mine. He'll stand here menacingly with a couple mobs just back here in the corner, but it's pretty good time to fight him just because it's more isolated than, say, if he's pathing around Dunley, where you can run into other roaming mobs, and or Christina, which is the next boss, who also takes a similar path around Dunley. All right, so let's get into it. Take the spider.
Why you don't mess with the militia?
My man is awfully confident. Never mind, he froze me. He froze me. So as expected, the Frostbringer does indeed bring the frost, which I apparently cannot dodge. He shoots out a projectile when he charges his shield back, which shoots out 5 ice projectiles. If you do get hit, you will be frozen. Heal. Like that.
I feel a chill coming on.
When he says that, he does a series of charges and sprinting around with... You would think with ice would slow him down. No, speeds him up. Self-explanatory when he's holding his shield up. Do not attack him. Oh, look, I can dodge. Look at that. What a time to be alive. Oh, no. When he does that, get out of the way. That hurts a lot. Also, it has a longer range than what's on the floor. I've done it. Easy fight. Alright, for taking down Vinny, you will be rewarded with tier 2 frost spell point, which is first tier 2 one you can get. And then prison cells, this is so you can start trapping prisoners for blood, which will be handy if you start coming across some higher level humans or mobs that have higher enriched blood, like 90%, 95%, 100%. You can trap them in the prison cells and then tap the blood. Prison framework, some just aesthetics, and then reinforced planks, which become a high value crafting item as the game progresses. All right, up next we have Christina the Sun Princess. As previously mentioned, she passed around Dunley. In my case, I found her strolling up out of the Dawnbreak village that we were just in, fighting Beatrice. She will be accompanied with 2 bodyguards as she's making her way around. She is a healer, but don't be deceived, she also does a good amount of damage. But because she's a healer, you want to try and like burst her down as quick as you can. And also try not to fight her with there's too many mobs around, because this makes it a headache. She does on top of healing, she does a series of projectile attacks with her staff. All right, now it's just me versus you for the time being until she gets more mobs. Ow. If she's doing her heal, you can knock her out of it by attacking her. Oh, I hit her when she was doing her counter. Pro tip, don't do that when bosses are countering. Another good thing about Christina though is she is a boss with not that much health, so you can chunk her down pretty quick if you have DPS. The key with this fight really, though, like I said, is just make sure you knock her out of her heals. The fight becomes way longer and more tedious if you let her keep healing. Pretty easy level 44 fight, and honestly pretty worth it, because on top of another spell point, this time illusion, you get yourself some candles, some wool thread, and the next level bag. And finally, to round out the level 44 bosses, we have Tristan the Vampire Hunter, which also paths, but he paths around Farbane, so you're back in the Farbane woods in the starter area, which is hilarious because he's kind of terrifying if you roll up on him as like a level 10. But fun fact, me and an army of level 10s once beat him. But this time, a little bit more of a fair fight because we're the proper level, and now it's time to take it to him. It's also a blood moon. It's pretty fun, pretty good for me. Tristan's actually a pretty cool fight. He has a lot of fun big or two-handed sword attacks, and he whips out that crossbow from time to time. Yeah, you brought a sword to an axe fight, my friend. Oh, never mind, you have a crossbow. 2 can play at that game. Pew, pew, pew. Oh, damn it. He brought back out the sword. He'll also throw a Molotov at times. When he throws the molly, it just makes the battlefield a nightmare, so just make sure you're up on your movement. Even though you'll be fighting him just amongst the woods and the streets out here, it's pretty easy because you don't really have to worry about other mobs getting involved that are pathing around, just because you're in such a low level area when you'll be fighting Tristan for the most part that any mobs that do show up really aren't a bother. Tristan is probably the first fight with the most variety of attacks rather than the standard kind of 1-2 attack sequence that you've really been used to so far in the game. He really keeps you on your toes a little bit more, which makes it for a really fun fight, especially on brutal mode. The key thing with this and any boss fight, or any PvP for that matter, when you're fighting, just make sure you keep track of your cooldowns. I can't tell you how many times that I've needed my dash and or my counter, and I just haven't had it yet. I was a half second away, so keeping track of your cooldowns is super important. Alright, I'll let Homeboy finish you off. Homeboy being my spider. And he missed. Very anticlimactic. And we're just about done here, folks. Oh, I didn't reach him. JK, I didn't reach him. That would have been embarrassing if I lost there at the end. Fun fight. Here's what you get. Another ultimate spell point, this time in blood. Blood hunger, which allows, it's a different vision mode where you can quickly identify the blood quality of the mobs that you see. So it's actually useful if you are out there hunting for new prisoners to start harvesting blood. Greater blood essence, which is the next level of blood essence, would become more important here in the mid game as you start crafting higher level things. And a great sword. The sword he was using, you just steal it and you learn how to make it. You reverse engineer that bitch. So up next, we make our way to the aforementioned haunted iron mine, where we can find the first of the level 47 bosses, Kriig the Undead General. He will be patrolling around the mine shafts here, as well as another boss, which I guess we're skipping to now. I'm actually going to go beat Kriig first because that's where I came for. We're going to come back and fight her. So they both patrol around the iron mine here. All players should make their way here at some point just because it is in fact the best place to get iron anywhere in the game. You can fill your pockets real quick and get out with enough iron to supply you for quite a while here in the mid game. When they both patrol, there's a chance that they can fight each other. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case here, so we'll go find him. If he's not patrolling, he'll be posted up back here in the southernmost chamber of the mine, just waiting menacingly. But we're gonna fight him. So Kriig has this really cool big scythe, which, plot twist, spoiler alert, you will unlock if you defeat him, being able to make the Reapers, as they're called. He does a big spinny attack. He summons more and more undead archers and soldiers as the fight goes on. He also throws 3 chains like you see that like that. We're fine. We're fine. I've never even worried. Unfortunate. More soldiers. We're just gonna chop them down to size. Kriig, do you mind? This is obviously the less fun way to do this fight. As I mentioned at the top, if you guys are lucky enough to find them fighting, him and Meredith. Usually Meredith wins out just because she's higher level. But sometimes, because there are a lot of undead mobs in here that will also aggro Meredith, sometimes Kriig will come off on top, but he'll be so weak you can just kind of take him out right after. Alright, let's wrap this up, Kriig. Spider, get him. Spiders, do it, Steve. Steve, go get him. Good job, Steve. We've done it. As mentioned, for this, you will get not only the Reaper, which is just a badass weapon, you get another tier 2 spell point, a cool doorbell you can install in your castle, and the ability to raise Skeleton Priest, which you can farm for Scourge Stone and Grape Dust. And next up, all the way from the southern mines of Dunley to the northern Church of the Damned, we find the next level 47 boss, Leandra the Shadow Priestess. You fight your way to the top plateau here and you will find her doing some sort of shadow priestess ritual type thing. You're just gonna quickly interrupt her with a spider to the face and we'll get this fight on the road. Just start wailing on her. She does teleporting and she also conjures these shadow soldiers to come attack you. 40% halfway through the fight, things get a little more spicy, where you'll see what I mean in a second. She will also throw out some shadow balls that do an arc similar to the way you throw just like that. 2 will go out a cone, 1 will go through the circle, and they'll converge in the middle. If you get hit by them, it's a slightly bigger AoE. So just make sure you're out of the lollipop range of it. Alright, there you go. She turns off the lights and she casts even more shadows. For this, just try and keep moving. Make sure you use your dash and your counter effectively, which I did not do there. That took a lot more damage than I should have, but we should be all right. Got the spider down again. The fight should be all but wrapped up. Oh, she's not dead. My little soldier guy did it. My skeleton guy. That fight can get a little bit of annoying if you don't manage your stuff. Like, I wasn't managing my stuff great and I almost died, so just take a little care when you're fighting that. But if you are able to slay her, you will be rewarded with a tier 1 spell point, but more importantly, the ability to make artisan tables, which you can then use to make some upgraded necklaces and rings, starting with the Scourge Stone pendant, which you now can unlock and craft. Scourge Stone itself, which is an important resource going into the mid to late game, and then also the Dust Caller, which is super important when you start filling your base up with more and more prisoners and workers. You can instantly teleport them to your castle, which is just super useful. And finally, to round out the level 47 bosses, we have here Maja the Dark Savant, who you can find here in the northeast part of Dunley in this pretty distinct looking area on your map called the Forbidden Tower. No mobs to speak of on the trip up here. Once you come, just follow the path right up here and you'll come face to face with this nerd with their books and whatnot. And as always, drop a spider right on her face. They never expect the spider. So as you can see, she drops these little goopy guys on the ground that path around and will attack you. They're also used for one of her mechanics where this happens, where you need to try and take them out before they reach her, because if not, she will heal. Outside of the goopy guys, it's really just projectiles you need to dodge. And this big AoE. But it's pretty telegraphed, so as long as you have a dash or you're in a good place, you can usually just kite out of it. Oh, gotta stop this whole shenanigan. Oh, there we go. I cannot overstate how good the Ward of the Damned counter is. I like it a lot. It's because if anything hits you or any projectiles, you form skeletons that are a really good distraction tool for boss fights, just normal PvE, stuff like that. All right, that's a wrap. Extract your blood, and you will see what I mean when I said Thirst for Knowledge earlier. You will get an illusion spell point tier 1, but more importantly, you unlock the study, which will allow you to learn new technology, just like the research table will let you learn the early game stuff. This is the mid game tier of that, where you can unlock new technology, with then you can craft higher level weapons, decorations, potions, etc. You also get some verdant fence or garden fencing, wall hanging shelves, and other storage, scrolls which you use to research at the library, and then a midnight ball gown, which is really just cosmetic. All right, so up next we have ourselves the level 50 bosses, leading off with Bane the Shadowblade. You can find him pathing around Dunley in his human form. So as you can see, I'm pretty confident this is him tracking the blood, but it doesn't say his name or anything because he's in disguise. And that very disguise is what we are after for killing him. Just give him a good old whack. You think darkness is your ally. I was born in the dark, molded by it. All right, that's my poor Bane expression. Shout out my friend Tom, TGT Kai, for the person that inspired that. All right, so back to the fight. He does a lot of serious, he fights very similar to like a kind of a rogue or a thief or something. Two blades, which again is one of the unlocks you can get, the slashers. He'll do a lot of quick dashes and sprints and slices and cuts. Just keep kiting him around. Should be able to do a pretty easy fight here. Until he goes invisible, he will pull a Houdini on you, and you have to guess which one of these are him. If you guess wrong and you hit them, you will uncover the undead mobs that he's disguised himself as. Eventually, when you find him or do enough damage, he will come out of hiding. I do very much enjoy this fight because it feels like another one that has a good amount of challenge to it, rather than some of the ones we've just done where it's a little bit more straightforward. So as you can hear right there, you can tell when it's him because one will glow purple, but also his voice cue. You can tell which one's the real him. Fun fight, but it's your time's done. So as I mentioned at the top and throughout the fight, the rewards for taking out Bane is first and foremost reclaiming Gotham from his tyrannical rule. Gotta mention that. But also you get a tier 1 spell point. You get the human form, which I'll showcase in a second. That is what he was first in. It allows you to walk into human settlements and towns and merchant areas, which you normally wouldn't be able to do as your vampire self. And you also get the slashers, which is another type of weapon. Just to showcase, here's the human form. It lets you go undetected into the various places I mentioned just now. Continuing down our list of bosses, we have the next level 50 boss, Grethal the Glassblower. You can find her, fittingly enough, up here in the northwest part of Dunley in the Quartz Quarry. She will be in the most northern, largest main hall here, doing her glass blowing thing. There are mobs, but not that many between the entrance and the main house here, so you can fight your way through her. Just run here, take out a few of the upfront guards, and get right into the fight. she can fly for some reason. We don't quite know why. She flies, she throws projectiles, and then she starts throwing out lava glass. These large molten glass ones will obviously prove as a impediment for you throughout the battlefield, but they will go away over time. And then also you'll see a blowing mechanic that she'll do at some point, which will turn these into explosions. Oh, I thought she like flew out the front door there. I do appreciate kind of the script direction and the art direction for the voice acting. It's just like, hey, can just like give me all the puns you can think of for this particular character? This is what I meant by the explosions, by the way. She'll do a big breath of air and these will explode into projectiles that will splinter and send projectiles out. We'll take a heal while we're at it. Oh, she blew me. Wait, pause. Yeah, that's what you get. So for taking out Grethel, you will earn yourself the first storm spell point, which is a cool set of abilities here, as well as wall hanging mirrors. You get the ability to make glass, which becomes important now throughout the rest of the game, and you can make blood rose potions, which is just an upgraded potion to anything you can make yourself right now. Oh look, we're back here in the Iron Mine. As mentioned earlier, you will find the second of the pathing bosses in here, Meredith the Bright Archer. She is the level 50. She's the last level 50. Her alongside Kriig path around here. So we passed up on her on the first time. We're back. Time to fight her. And she apparently found all the undead to fight as well. So we'll let them do whatever they can to her. Oh, never mind. They're all dead already. Unsurprising enough for you guys, I bet. She does a series of archery bow type attacks, if you couldn't tell by the name. Ever so often, Meredith will also spawn new mobs. Similar to a lot of bosses we've seen so far throughout this series. They can range from normal soldiers like this or fellow archers like herself. Like I said though, in the Kriig fight, the easiest way to do this whole thing is just hopefully you time it up so that her and Kriig are fighting each other and third party them. That is my biggest piece of advice for these fights. Also, if you're playing on a more populated server, chances are if you're on pace with everyone else on the server, you'll be fighting these two and in the Iron Mine with a lot of other players, which can be a bad thing if you run into a bunch of aggro players, but also could be a good thing if they're already fighting them. You can team up. We're gonna let Homeboy finish you off. Homeboy being Steve. Good job, Steve. You've done it. And with that, that caps off all 3 level 53 bosses. What do you unlock, you say, for Meredith? Well, I'll tell you. Another storm spell point and the ability to make holy resisting potions, which will get important because you will start going into areas that have holy damage, and being able to craft these resistant potions are super helpful. Okay, so we made our way up to the level 53 bosses, starting off first with Terah the Geomancer. You can find Terah here in the Bedrock Pass, a little bit south of the Quartz Quarry that we were just at a little while ago. And if you like PvP, you should come fight this one, because the thing she unlocks is crucial to raid other castles. So Terah's as advertised, she's a Geomancer. She mances Geo. She also spawns these spectral golems. Take them out as early as possible when she spawns them. One great thing about this fight is that she's pretty slow in her golem form here. So you see right now I'm just kind of kiting, sidestepping. And then I'll hit her with a scythe real quick. Unexpected. When she's in the ground like that, she does not take damage. So although I was hitting her because I'm dumb, don't waste your abilities or attacks. Oh, I'm just missing every single spell ever. When you knock her out of form, she will be briefly stunned like that. I was just a little bit out of position. She'll resort to throwing spectral projectiles at you and then go back in the golem form. For all intents and purposes, this is a really easy fight, just considering the moveset and the movement speed is low, so you don't really, there's not a, oh, I got trapped by a rock. She took that personally. But yeah, this is a pretty easy fight, and the reward for beating her are very important. Like I said, if you are into PvP and being able to raid other castles, this is the boss fight for you. And let's wrap this up, shall we?
Take me.
Well, if you insist. Also, I haven't noticed it or mentioned it yet, but look, I got myself a little hat. I'm dapper. Alright, so for taking out Terah, you get yourself another tier 3 spell point, this time an illusion. Then you get the gem cutting table, the siege golem stone, which is the component I was referring to earlier that allows you to do raiding. It's the chief raiding tool in the game. It allows you to summon a siege golem and then control it to break down other people's castles, break in, steal their goods, thwart all their plans. You can cut regular gems, and you can refine obsidian. Alright, so up next in our level 53 bosses takes us to another new biome. First look at the Hollowed Mountains. Hollowed Mountains is in the southeast part of the map, here connected to both Farbane and Dunley and Ruins of Mortium, which is another new biome we'll see in the late game. So this boss, Frostmaw, the Mountain Terror, can be found pathing around the main loop here in the mountains, and is the first boss in this game when I first saw him was holy shit, this dude looks awesome. So it's a super cool fight, the design is great. We're gonna fight him, see how it goes. Look at him just walking around menacingly. Why would he turn around? He has no natural predators out here except Steve. Get him, Steve. So admittedly, I have a lot of problem with this fight usually, so hopefully this goes better than it usually does. Already off to a bad start. So he does a series of frost attacks, and also he has a lot of quick movement. He does a lot of freezing, obviously, if you get hit by his claws or projectiles. Overall, it's kind of just a really annoying fight. Which I'm just not good at for some reason. This is my least favorite part of it. Throughout the fight, he will cause a blizzard, which will impair your vision, obviously, but also he'll do these AoE attacks that hurt a lot if you get caught in them. So just keep kiting, keep moving around, avoid his attacks, avoid the AoE blast that he puts on the ground. Listen. I told you guys in the upfront I'm not good at this fight, so it's like, don't be surprised. But if you are doing this fight, just make sure to keep moving. Make sure to not get frozen nearly as much as I am right now. And the fight gets a little bit easier if you're able to avoid his attacks, especially that big beam, which has a very long hitbox, apparently. Frostmaw, please, leave me be. Alright, we might die here. But first, we're gonna truly live. Update, didn't have my counter. Motherfucker. Alright, so once you beat him first time, like always, extract his V-Blood and reap the rewards. For defeating Frostmaw, you'll get yourself another tier 3 spell point, this time in Frost, obviously. And then you get to make thick leather, which is used for making some of this higher level armor now in the mid to late game. And then the Mountain Peak Bag, which is the next tier of bags, let you carry more loot. Okay, so remember just a fight ago where I said we'd be seeing the Ruins of Mortium later in the game? Well, it's technically later in the game, and here we are, because up next, rounding out the level 53 bosses, is the person approaching me, General Elena the Hollow, with one of her little bodyguards. You can find her roaming the paths of the Ruins of Mortium up here, and usually she's accompanied with more henchmen on the offset here, but looks like they got into a fight somewhere down the line, so we're gonna try and fight him before that guy gets involved. Alright, maybe we just wait. Maybe we just wait till the Dreadhorn goes away. Oh, is she recruiting him? Well, that sucks. That sucks for me. Well, guess we're fighting them all. So she is another ranged ice archer. Kind of funny that there's multiple ranged ice archers in this game, but here we are. Okay, so when she says this line here, the Legion of Nocturne rises above, you'll see she goes up on an ice pillar, which makes her invulnerable, but you need to take out this ice pillar so she'll come back down and you continue fighting her. We're gonna try and burst her down before she does any more of her ice pillar shenanigans. This ice pillar section, it's not that difficult as long as you keep your dash up. Stay close to the pillars so that you have room to dodge. The cone is the smallest when you're closest to it, so you can just kind of sidestep or dash. Taking her out with a nice projectile feels fitting. And just like that, you are only a few bosses away from beating Act 2. What do you get for killing her, you ask? Well, you get another tier 2 frost spell point. You get the altar of Stygian Awakening, which allows you can craft it, put it in your base, and it allows you to unlock passives for your vampire. Also, lastly, you just get some carpets. Just go down to the carpet store, you know? Alright, so up next in the next tier of bosses, you can hear him already in the distance. We're staying right here in the ruins because out there picking some fights with some wolves is General Cassius the Betrayer, which is another boss you can find patrolling around the ruins of Mortium up here. Usually he has a little entourage with him. I'm lucky enough that it seems like they got taken out again, so we're just gonna mono him. As always, try to do as much in the upfront as when he's doing his little intro. General Cassius' main gimmick here is he's similar to Shen from League of Legends, if you play that game, where he has a little sword that's attached to him, which is what you want to focus on. Try and burst it down as quick as you can. It's the most effective way to take him out. Oh, I forgot I can't walk on water. And then you can pick it up and you can throw it at him to stun him, which is convenient timing because the archers are involved now. Pro tip, after you do that and he comes out from being stunned, he takes it very personally. He is upset that you threw his own sword at him. As always, just make sure you're crisp with the sidestepping and your pathing in the fight. I would recommend trying to do it in a slightly open space like I am right now. After a little bit, he'll throw another sword back out. Same routine as last time. And we're gonna throw it at him again. Yeah, how do you like them apples? We're gonna put Steve down and this fight should be a wrap. So when you take out the general, you are rewarded with a tier 2 unholy spell point, the Stygian summoning circle, and also another potion to craft the vampiric brew. Up next, we go back to a land where not everything is trying to kill you all at the same time. We're back in Dunley for the person that's approaching me right now, Jade the Vampire Hunter. At this point in the game, if you've done enough traveling around Dunley, you've probably run into her at some point, and you know that you can find her pathing around the Dunley farmlands. She hopefully will be an easier fight than the past few we just got into, so let's howl first to let her know we're here. She is a ranged weapon user, but this time your first encounter with not a bow, it is a gun. And spoiler alert, if you are wondering what we're gonna unlock at the end of this, I'll let you take a guess, but you could probably figure it out. If you get hit by her one shot, one kill, she will stun you for a brief time. She also has a rapid fire projectile attack, as well as few AoE or callops. You remember these guys? We did a fight in Act 1 with this. Because you're generally going to fight her out in the open roads here, there's always a chance that more mobs will come join you. Luckily though, here in Dunley, you should be pretty higher level than most other mobs that are going to show up at this point. So at this point, they should just be a nuisance more than anything else. Ow. 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 I shouldn't have called them a nuisance. Man put down fire everywhere. Almost got me killed. Alright, well, while we were over here not cowering at all and healing up, it looks like Steve took her out. Convenient. For killing Jade the Vampire Hunter, you will find yourself another tier 2 chaos spell point, the advanced blood press, which lets you start making more advanced blood essences, which get even more important as you progress through the game, and as I spoiled a little bit earlier, you unlocked a new weapon type, this time the pistols. And finally, to wrap up the level 57 bosses, we find ourselves yet again on the west side of Dunley farmlands to the Dunley Monastery, which is just south of the Bedrock Pass that we were at a few bosses ago here in Act 2. So you can either fight your way to the top here, or if you're smart like me, you can go into your human form and bypass all the mobs and just walk straight up to the top church, where you will find Raziel the Shepherd, who is our next boss, leading a cult following mass. That's the best way to describe it. So just waddle your way up here and come out of your human form, startle the mass goers, and start the fight. Also, yes, that is my loot. I was fighting him already. I did half of this boss fight, and then my dog started barking, so I decided to restart it. So throughout the fight, Raziel will spawn just these light fixtures around that boost him, but also clutter the battlefield, so try and take them out as quick as you can. These things I'm talking about. When he does that beam, get out of the way. That thing hurts. Big fan of the Reaper for this thing. I like being able to throw it. So as you can see, Raziel will do a series of projectile-based attacks that explode. His main attack here is a Iron Man style beam, which just does a ton of damage. So do not get hit by it, or you'll just be like, why didn't I listen to Caggmoney? A lot of just really annoying light beam attacks. That is the best way to describe them. That's why I never joined a cult. Oh my god. Also, you cannot counter it. I did that clearly for demonstration purposes. Steve is really the goat of this whole series. That beam in particular is heat seeking, so just keep moving. We've done it. Church is canceled for the day. Alright, so I will add that to the list of just annoying fights. Not that difficult, rather just annoying, but you will be rewarded with the utmost of another tier 2 blood spell point, as well as jewel crafting table and some cordial stairs. Some just different decor stairs to build around your castle. And finally, we come to the last boss here in Act 2, level 58, Octavian the Militia Captain, who you will find more or less kind of in the middle of Dunley farmlands here at the Bastion of Dunley. When you get here, you enter through the south of the east, and the easiest thing to do, just like last time, is just go into human form and walk your way up to the most northern area in the map, and you will come face to face with Octavian. I say go into human form just because it's a bell ringer here, so you could fight your way through everything, but who's got time for that? Just walk up here. You'll be isolated. There is one roaming party that I've taken out already that passed right here, but take them out and then you just have a solo boss fight for the last boss here in Act 2. And you guys know the drill by now. We're gonna put down Steve and get into it. This took me an embarrassing long time to beat the first time I ever fought him, so hopefully you guys are watching this video so that doesn't happen to you the first time you guys fight him. You're gonna learn from me, and I'll take the pro tips I give you. Pro tip number 1, don't get hit by that. It's been a little while since we had a boss that summons archers, but here, yet again, we have another one. Let's get rid of him. No calling in subs, bro. I really need to just dodge better. When he glows red like this, he will get enraged, move a little faster, attack a little faster, and hit a little harder. This is probably his most annoying thing that he does the entire fight. He will start spinning and casting out a ton of his roaming projectiles there. That is a great time to use your counter. If you use the Worm to Damn like me, it's great because you can get a lot of skeletons spawned off that if you let all of his projectiles hit. Throw Steve down and see if we can finish off Act 2 here.
I'm just too damn tired.
Don't you blame it on that, bro. You got worked. You got worked, homie. And for the last boss fight here, you will be rewarded with a Storm Spell Point Tier 3, the Ancestral Forge, which allows you to make the Nest weapon tier, wide castle entrances, which are useful for your base building and making your base more secure and just cool, and then equipment storage, which allows special storage for weapon, armor, and jewels. So there's a wrap. Congratulations, you have now beat all the bosses in Act 1 and Act 2. If you guys made it this far in the video, please make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it and found it helpful. And if you missed Act 1, make sure to go watch that. Act 3 and 4 are on their way soon, leading up to the new update at the end of the month here. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.